We on again, man. We on again. Let's go. We live. Ready to rock. And got a couple of questions and things to talk about outside of answering your guys' questions today, man. So I'm going to run them through real quick, and I'll say them again as you're all jumping in. First one is I'm looking for feedback regarding the playbook that I'm putting out. The second one is what comes first, tactics or skills? The third piece is about how parents act. The fourth one is the one thing that kids can control, which is effort. And then this one kind of finishes up on parents and your experience. So that's what I want to touch on today, man. So we're going to run it. We're going to hit this. And, of course, I'm going to answer questions. So if you got questions, man, put them in. A couple things as you guys know. First is I have a giveaway, not a giveaway, sorry. I have a donation process we're looking to get support on. And it's to support a 501c3 that I operate where we offer completely free soccer classes to kids, completely 100% free. And they don't pay $1 for it, nothing. And it's just to try and help kids play sports that don't have money. We don't do any advertising for it. It's completely under the radar. It's just to help kids play sport. Anyways, so first thing I want to talk about, I need your feedback. So if you could comment below, and it's about the playbook that I'm putting together, and it's going to be book, video that's coming. So can you put in the comments below what you'd want to see in it, so that way I have a reference of what you'd like to have available to you, if that makes sense. So if you can put like what you would like to see in the playbook from a youth soccer perspective. If you could put it in the comments or whatever, send me a DM, that's good too. But that just helps me have an idea of what you guys want to see about it, okay? So let me know. That'd be great. If you guys have any thoughts, comments, please, again, about the playbook, I'm looking for your feedback of what you think or what you would like to know in regards to maneuvering this youth soccer setup. So if you could, fill me in on what you think, that would be amazing. And let's make it happen. Okay, does that make sense? So please drop questions or say, hey, I want to see this in the playbook. I want this information. I don't know it. That would help me tremendously because I have a bunch of content. But again, I know a lot of stuff. So there might be things that I'm missing because I don't have your guys' feedback. So let's see. Let's make it happen, okay? And let's do it. So if you guys can give me your feedback for the playbook, that would be amazing. That way I can, again, start adding that stuff. If you want to shoot me a DM, if you want to throw it in here, it's even better. That way I have it. That'd be great. And that's it. So hopefully that'll help, okay? And then, as I said, if you want me to hurry up with the playbook, I need you guys to be liking, and I need you to put in my reels, like when you make a comment, type playbook. If you do that, that means I know you're paying attention, and I want you to have that in there. Okay, does that make sense? So playbook, type that in my reels that I'm posting. Like I posted one today about the player evaluation scam. Okay, so type playbook, and then you can write whatever comment you want to write as well. And you can put them in all of my reels if you want. That's fine. I'm just trying to see how much you guys want this thing to come out. Okay, so do that. And then make sure you're sharing this stuff. Again, sharing it that way I know that you guys want to see this stuff. So, cool. So then I will get to questions in a second. What I want to get into now is about parents, okay? And I think this is really important. Hold on, I need some water. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about, I touched on this briefly. I want to go into probably a little bit more detail today in regards to this, and it's about how you guys behave on the sideline, okay? And you need to be really, really careful because what you don't want to do is you don't want to become a toxic parent. What does this mean? A toxic parent is somebody that just continuously speaks so bad, negatively about pretty much anything, about the club, about the coach, about the kids on the team, the other parents. Like, don't be that parent. Don't do that. Obviously, if you play for a cash cow, that's fine. That's different. But what I'm talking about is there are people that just the whole time, dude, all they do is just complain. They, I can't swear, but they're just constantly causing issues with people. And it's just like, why do that? It doesn't do any benefit to anybody except piss everybody off. The best thing you do is sit away from everybody else. Just keep your mouth quiet and just watch if you want to watch practice. Or better yet, if you really want to be a good parent, don't go to practice. Don't. Stay away. Stay away. Why? It's your kid's time to develop. Now, of course, if the program that you play for is no good, then don't do that. But if you think the program that your son plays for is great, as an example, the club is good, then just do it. Okay, and then really, I need you to think about it this way, okay? So, and I want you to tell me down below in the comments, what level have you played at in sports? It can be any sport, by the way, but sports in general. What level have you played at? What level have you played at? Like, did you play high school? Did you play rec? Did you play maybe college? What level did you play at? I want to know, because I think it's important. Like, this conversation I want to engage you guys is extremely, extremely important, and I don't think enough people talk about this stuff. So, because here's the deal. This is where it gets funny, right? So I have a kid in my program whose uncle, I'm not going to put his name out there. It doesn't really matter, but whose uncle won a World Cup. Won a World Cup with one of the biggest countries in the world, okay? And he came out last summer, and he was watching his nephew and his daughter play a game, soccer. It was actually futsal, but that's a separate point. Anyways, he's watching the games. He watched 3 games of just his nephew playing, okay? And this is where it gets really, really interesting. I really need you to pay attention to this part, so make sure you're listening, okay? If you're listening, give me a thumbs up in the chat. Okay, because this is huge. Like, you guys need to understand this point. It's so important. And this would be a guy that, how do I explain this to you, would have the right to say something. I'm going to say that again. This would be a guy that's won a World Cup, like the actual World Cup, and he would have the right to say something. Okay? So check this out. I'm going to say that one more time. This is a guy that has won the World Cup before. The actual World Cup, the FIFA World Cup. He's won it. Won the World Cup, okay? And you know how he acts on the sideline when he's watching his nephew play or his daughter play? He's just clapping. Smiling and clapping. And I'm looking at this guy and I'm going, holy crap. This is a guy that's won a World Cup. He's watching his daughter and his nephew make mistakes on the court, and other players make mistakes on the court, and this would be the guy that has the right to say something. And he said nothing the entire time. He's sitting there, and he's just watching. 1, 2, if something that happened that he liked, he just claps. If he didn't like it, he's just smiling. You wouldn't even know. You wouldn't even know he didn't like what he just saw. You would have no idea. And I'm looking at this guy, and I'm like, dude, this dude's won a World Cup, one of the best players of all time, and he doesn't say anything during the game. 0 during the game. And I'm like, but I got parents on the sideline over here that have never played a sport in general above high school, and they're trying to give instructions to kids like they know what they're talking about. And I'm like, oh my God, what in the actual... Like, I'm like, it makes no sense. How can you have a guy that's won a World Cup, doesn't open his damn mouth one time, he's just watching, and then you got guys that have never played a sport, a single sport, above high school, and they're here the entire time complaining, 1, causing problems, 2, and berating their kids the entire time. And I'm like, what right do you have? Is it because you think it's your kid that you have the right to just berate them and do whatever you want? Like, I don't know, bro. Like, it's crazy, man. Like, the way that you guys do some of this stuff. And I'm not saying that it's all you guys in this chat, but what I am saying is, it makes no sense to me that you guys will choose to act like that. Like, you haven't done anything in the game at any remote level. High school's not a high level, guys. Like, I don't mean to be disrespectful in any single way, but it's not a high level. And if you think it's a high level, then you don't know much about sports, which is fine. But then if you don't know much about sports, don't open your mouth. Like, just don't do that. Like, as an example, right? I'm watching the playoffs the other day, and I'm like, dude, I don't know anything about this. I'm not opening my mouth. I'm not doing it. I don't know enough about it. I don't know how this stuff works. I barely know the rules. So I can't comment on something that I don't know something about. And I highly recommend you as parents, take that advice on board. You don't know enough about it, don't open your mouth. Can you like form your own opinion? Sure. All day. I'm watching the basketball game. I'm forming my own opinion. I may ask a question and be like, hey, can you explain this to me, or what's happening here? I don't get it. But I'm not opening my mouth berating somebody and saying, well, they should have done this, and why is this player doing that, and what is he doing, and what is the coach thinking, and blah, 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 blah. Like, what benefit does that do for anybody except just piss everybody off? Like, I had to explain this to some people before, and I'm like, look, okay, I coach, other people coach. Like, here's the thing. Do you not think coaches realize when they're playing games that they don't realize why they lost? I'm going to say that again. So I coach, right? And let's say I have a game and I lost the game. You don't think I realized why we lost the game? Whether the score was 1-0 or 5-4 or 6-0? Like, I mean, do you not think I realized what happened? Like, maybe one, it's a level gap. Maybe we're in a level that's too hard for the kids, or the kids didn't rise to the occasion to play. And that's, halftime, half the battle. So, yeah, bro, I mean, it's just that. Like, don't open your mouth to stuff you don't know anything about. Like, can you form your own opinion in your mind? Sure. But, like, when you open your mouth and you don't know what you're talking about, you just look silly. And I'll give you a counter example, right? I get in this argument all the time. It's actually one of the things I want to talk about, so it's actually a perfect transition. So check this out. Everybody says, oh, I want to see tactics. I want to see positions. I want to see anything along the lines of these words. And I'm like, dude, I'm looking at all these kids. They don't have the skill level, but you want them to understand positions. Like, I had a conversation with the parent. He's like, well, can you just teach them, like, how to move to receive the ball? And I'm like, okay, let's do a scenario, right? Can your child pass the ball to somebody 9 times out of 10 with the proper weight to the proper foot in front of them? No, is the answer. They can't. So why do I need to be teaching them how to move to receive a ball when the execution of technique is so incorrect that maybe, if we're lucky, 1 out of 10 times the ball's going to hit the guy's foot? And that's being generous. Probably 1 out of 50 would be a better number. So if it's 1 out of 50, even 1 out of 10, what is the point of teaching tactics to somebody? And I'm like, so I had parents coming to me saying, oh, I want to see this. Okay, great. You bring your kids back to me next season as an example, or whenever, and they all have fundamental skills. They can all dribble with both feet. They can pass with both feet. They have touch with various parts of the body where the ball's not hitting them, like hitting their chest and ricocheting 50 feet out of the air. Or like you passing the ball with enough weight on it so it's a firm pass and the ball doesn't hit their foot and bounce 10 feet. And I'm like, okay. And then the final piece would be receiving, turning left, turning right. And if you bring me kids that have that, then I will do all the tactical stuff. But if they can't do that, I will not teach it. There's just no point, in my opinion. I'm setting your kid up to fail. Because I'm a guy that goes, look, I'm trying to develop your kid for the long run, not the short run. But some guys just want to develop for the short run. And if you want the short run, then don't come to me. That's simple. If you just want to go win a $3 medal this weekend because there's a tournament weekend coming up in 2 days, then dude, don't come to me because I'm not the guy that's going to get your kid ready for the tournament this weekend. I'm going to be the guy that sets him up for long-term success. And there's probably people like that that's similar to me in that regard. So just be mindful of where you want to go. Again, educate yourself. Like, it's so important. God, you guys drive me nuts, man. But anyways, throw some questions there. I got one more thing I really want to talk about, but you guys got some questions. I saw some already. Let me see if I can find them. And I'll try and hit them as we're going through. Okay, let me see. Let the kids do the game. I agree. Like, I hate... Like, here's one thing I didn't mention yet, but I'll talk about it. Dude, I can't stand joystick coaching. You guys know what joystick coaching is? Let me know in the comments if you joystick coach. Put like a sad face or something. Like, oh yeah, I joystick coach, sad face, because like you got like the teary eye thing. Because, like, dude, don't joystick coach your kid, bro. Don't. Actually, let me rephrase that. If you want your child coming to you for the rest of your life, so you're a parent, if you want your child coming to you for the rest of your life, joystick. Joystick them. So joystick coaching essentially means that you give them every single answer and tell them what to do every single time. You understand what I just said? I'm going to say that again. If you want your child coming to you for the rest of your life, then joystick them. Because when you joystick, right, you're telling them where to go, what to do, and everything. So when they have the ball, okay, Johnny, dribble. Okay, Johnny, dribble. Okay, Johnny, turn right. Johnny, turn right, pass to Beckham. Okay, Beckham, dribble. Okay, Beckham, turn around, pass it to Anthony. That's joystick coaching. Like, if you want your kid to come to you for the rest of your life because they can't solve problems on their own, then joystick coach. Do it. All right, let me see. Hold on, I'm trying to find your questions, man. It's hard. There's so much stuff coming through. Bum, 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 bum. Oh, every kid. Look it up. These sports program pays grants for take a picture of that. All right, come on. I'm trying to find some questions, man. I'm looking. There's a bunch of stuff in here, but I don't see. Where are my questions at? Questions, lads. Sorry, I'm like trying to scroll up and stuff, and I can't find ball mastery first. Why is your turn ball first? Yeah, absolutely. Ball mastery is definitely key. Joystick, never seen that before. I bet that's a complete lie. Yeah, joystick coaching is the worst thing you can probably do. U.S. soccer coaching model is ask questions and let the player figure out this issue. How can we coach to teach the skills, techniques to have the answer for situations? Well, you have to teach, like, that's the thing, like, okay, so here's my perspective since you brought that up, right? U.S. soccer, coaching education. On paper, I think it's great if you have a bunch of kids with skill. Like, high-level players can get away with doing, for the short answer, play, practice, play. So if you have a bunch of high-level skilled players, play, practice, can't even speak. Play, practice, play is great. If you have kids that don't have level, then they need to have level. And there's many ways that you can do that to keep it fun, which I recommend a lot of one-on-one. 1v1 is what I mean by that. But not everybody understands that. So, I mean, it's hard, bro. Let's see. My son just turned 12. We left a higher league to go to a lower tier league for the coach. There you go. I mean, your kid's 12. Like, it's so important. Like, everybody's so worried about exposure and playing in these top tier leagues and doing these things. Like, I'm going to say this again a different way. If you're, and most places that you can live have MLS academies, okay? So, on paper, I didn't say MLS Next, by the way. I said MLS academies. So if you have an MLS academy that is directly connected to the first team of a professional MLS club, and you can get on that team, then it's probably worth it. Obviously, there's a risk that goes with that, but I spoke about that yesterday. Okay? And the risk is if you want to travel internationally and a club wants to sign you, they now have to pay a compensation fee for that MLS club. So if you don't play for an MLS club, you don't run that risk. That's just something to, kind of keep on the toes that you have. Anyways, I just drew a blank what I was talking about. Oh my God. Level, right? Leagues and that. Okay, so leagues. Everybody's so FOMO'd about leagues for anything under 15 that's literally irrelevant. Because no kid's signing a professional contract or is getting a college scholarship before they even enter high school. So, yeah, 1. 2 is this. And this is what I was going to say. If you play for an MLS Academy, okay, cool. Like in my area, there's Orlando City. If you play for Orlando City Academy, not the Orlando City franchise, then okay, right? But if you don't, then to be completely honest with you, in my utter opinion, I don't think there's a difference. Because, okay, so Orlando City Academy, because I live in Orlando, that would be the highest level team possible for specific age groups. Agreed or not? Let me know if you agree. Think if you agree. Tell me down below in the comments. Thumbs up if you agree, thumbs down or whatever if you don't. Anyway, so let's say that it should be that case at least, right? Because they're the MLS club. Okay, so if that's the case, which it should be, then anything below that, which means you're now on the third team, because they take enough players to have 2 full teams, give or take. So if you're not on that squad, that means you're at least a third string tier player at this moment. So you're not number 1, you're not number 2. You're third string or fourth string or fifth string. So it doesn't even really matter at that point, if that makes sense. So it matters that when you get to 15, and how do I explain that? At that point, that's when college recruiting happens and a whole bunch of other things happen that need to sort through. So just keep that in the back of your mind. I need a DPL league for my daughter, and I am in a South Carolina. Which academy should she try? I don't recommend academies because I don't know many that do the right thing. Your take on ECNL, I mean, I've said this multiple times. My take on ECNL, I don't know how much you know about ECNL, but it was created by guys that wanted to make money. Long story short, I'm paraphrasing, obviously, so take that with a grain of salt. But that's the idea behind it. They were like, hey, we can make a league that can rival. It was DA at the time, but rival DA for player placement. So that's what they did. They saw an opportunity, they took it. Capitalism at its finest. Anyways, that's what they did, and they created a system that allows kids to play high school. I think high school soccer is a complete and utter joke. There may be 1 or 2 places across the country where high school soccer might be relevant, but for 98% of the country, high school is a joke. So, yeah, if you think high school is a joke, put a thumbs up. If you don't think it's a joke, put a thumbs down. I want to see what people think. All right. Oh, yeah, and the last thing I'll add about ECNL is if I have a friend of mine who was a Division I college coach for 15 years, and he said the following: if you play high school soccer and you tell a Division I coach that, you're going to get cut immediately because you are not serious. So take that for what it is to you. What is the solution if all the players in U8 have been brainwashed to pass instead of beating defenders? Oh, Sasha, welcome to America, my friend. Here's the deal, bro. Everybody's been brainwashed because, again, here's the thing, right? This is what people don't get. Yeah, is soccer a team sport? Yes, it is. Soccer is a team sport, but it's also the most individual sport in the world, or one of them, I should say, because it's one player that gets picked. It's not a whole team. So the one player has to be the best at dribbling, the best at passing, the best at defending, I think you're kind of getting my point. Like, they got to be the best at certain things to get picked up to go somewhere else in the future. So it is completely toxic. And what is the solution? I would not worry about playing a lot of games. To be honest, I'd go play 3v3s or something along those lines if you can, or a lot of one-on-ones. Like, it doesn't even matter. So agreed. I'm leading a coach certificate tomorrow, and I like the joystick name, so I'm going to mention it to the new coaches during the lesson. There you go. Yeah, don't be a joystick coach. I think it's great. Don't joystick. I appreciate that you think the content is decent. I love that. Thank you. They also don't have all age groups. They often skip an age, so your kid is sitting unless he is an early bloomer. Yeah, definitely true. People love physical stuff. Do you know of any good academies in the Miami area for an 8-year-old boy? I don't recommend anybody's academy. I don't know enough that do the right thing, so I can't really recommend an academy. So, yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it, man. I mean, I did have one more thing I really wanted to discuss. And then, again, if you guys got questions, throw it out there. Oops, there was some stuff here I missed. I'm sorry. Okay, so somebody said ODP. ODP. Cool. So, there's really 2 more things I want to kind of discuss. But ODP. So ODP used to be the pathway, like how MLS Next is now the pathway to the national team or to pro or whatever. That's what ODP used to be. Okay, ODP, in my opinion, has always been a mess and a joke. I imagine it's only gotten worse because I saw that they posted online that they have now, because they're not a direct pathway to the national team anymore, like the U.S. national team, like the U.S. under-14s or the under-15s or the under-16s or whatever. Now they have ODP national teams. Does that not just sound like a money grab to you? The ODP national team? What? So they used to be the direct connect to get to the national team program until the DA was formed. And now ODP is a program that has an ODP national team. Is that not a cash cow? To me, that's a cash cow. And it's always been a cash cow. So I think it can be beneficial. Like it could be a good experience to put your kid out there to have, be challenged and meet new people and do stuff like that. But don't think you're going to get something out of it that's worthwhile, to be honest. I mean, it's never been that. Well, it was that at one point, but it was so political that it was never about picking the best players. It was whoever can do the networking piece to get their foot through the door. And I've said this before. I had a college professor that said the following, which was, it's about who you know to get the job. It's about what you know to keep the job. So that's what ODP was all about, networking. When it is a good age to be a part of a soccer club, my kid is 9, but he has been a part of the cash cow for 4 years. Now I'm thinking of taking him out and just play recreational besides other sports. Thoughts? I mean, you can do that. I don't know if doing recreational would be the best way to do it. But, yeah, I mean, your kid's 9. Like, if it depends on what game do you want to play. You want to play the short-term game? You want to play the long-term game? If you want to play the short-term game, then keep playing the cash cow game. I mean, that's what it's about. So if I were in your shoes, I'd be doing a lot of 3v3s, a lot of guest playing. And again, like I told you guys, I need your feedback. So if you could help me, I got a bunch of people in this chat. Can you let me know down below, as a parent, what would you want to see in the playbook? I'm trying to make this like as inclusive as possible to include as many things, so that you guys can be educated about what you're getting into, and I can kind of help guide you along that process. So let me know down below in the comments, or shoot me a DM or something. I need the feedback. One thing about academies, players get invited by a third party, not because there are open tryouts. Am I right there? I mean, you can be right. People can invite anybody they want anytime, and a parent can choose to pay or not pay. I mean, that's just how it works. So it can be that, sure. Yeah, I mean, all day. Absolutely. Somebody said, is it worthwhile to send teenagers over to Europe for soccer summer camps? Well, it depends on what you define as worthwhile. Sorry, I had to laugh at that because it's a running joke amongst people that know anything about this. So I'll give you an example. I've said this multiple times. I have a very, very good friend. He's like a dad to me. That is the technical director of a big club in France. One of the biggest in France, actually. And they produce tons of players. Benzema is one of them. Karim Benzema from Real Madrid. Anyways, over the summer, they shut the academy down. They shut the first team down. They shut the second team down. So they're all their coaches are getting breaks. In fact, he might come back over to Orlando again. He called me yesterday. He's like, hey, I have an open slot between June this date. Can I come? Yeah, absolutely, please. Anyways, so they know that they can make a bunch of money on summer camps because there are people that will pay 500 to 600 euros for their kid to travel to whatever country, train in the camp, and you're paying 500 to 600 bucks. And you know who the coaches are? They're not even academy coaches from that club. They're like local coaches that want to make more money, but they get to wear the academy uniform or the club's uniform. Oh my God. What do I think about Cal South League? I don't know anything about it, so I can't comment on something I don't know. And that's what I like to do. Like, again, if I was making comments about parents and toxicity, don't be that parent. Like, you guys are asking me for feedback of these things, and I don't answer it because I don't know enough about it. Hawaii does not have ECNL MLS next, so there's a lot of talent in the Hawaii ODP system. That might be the case, man. I don't know much about Hawaii, so I can't comment on it. Again, same thing I'm just talking about. So if ODP is the way to go in Hawaii, then it's the way to go. But that makes sense that they wouldn't have ECNL and MLS because then holy hell, that would be crazy to have to fly to Hawaii to do a game and fly out. So yeah, I'd love to learn more about that actually. What do you think about college ID camps like the ones that are kind of held on site? We were looking at one at UCF this summer. Oh, God. Well, again, what are you looking to get out of the camp? Because, again, you know how many kids have the same goal of wanting to go to UCF? Way too many. So do the math. Let's say you got 50 kids that all want to go to UCF and play soccer there. They're all going to sign up for the camp. Money. And I told you guys this the other day on a live. I got my buddy that coached Division I college for 15 years. Some of you guys might be in this chat that heard me say it before. So tell me in the comments below how much money you heard me say or how much you think he made every single year on camps. It's a stupid amount of money. Like, just stupid. Like, stupid! Because all you guys, by the way, and he was at a good Division I school, but not like a top D1 like Duke. But you know how many you know how much money this dude made? Type it in the comments below, guys. How much money you think he made? Give me a number. Like, for example, 50,000 or 10,000 or 1 million or whatever number you think it is. And I'll tell you in about 3 seconds. So the amount of money this guy made on average per year, well, I should say revenued first, and then I'll tell you the profit. He revenued on average every single year as a Division I college coach $800,000 because all you guys wanted to go to his damn camp. And he milked you on it. Ha! Ha! And you guys keep paying it. So his profit was $400,000 to $500,000. His cost was $300,000 to $400,000. So he was revenuing about 50%, if not higher, every single summer. Oh, man. As a parent, what do you think is the best way to advertise that your kid could be a guest player? Well, I believe that tournaments have like a player pool that you can sign up for, and then you can be on it. But otherwise, what I would do is if you know teams are going to tournaments, reach out to the club. Be like, hey, do you guys need a guest player? Yes, no, cool. Okay, great. Yes, no, cool. Just keep that in mind. So rec soccer is awesome. Michael Jordan didn't play ball until 13. I mean, he probably played in the street a lot, right? I mean, I remember reading or watching the Last Dance documentary. And he talked about how he played all the time in the street with his brothers. Yeah, you don't need to play. I mean, again, develop skills first. Michael Jordan's the perfect example. Pathway for young goalkeepers. What do you mean? What is the pathway? Can you expand a little bit more on what you want me to answer? I love the 3v3 idea and have always been a proponent. I have hosted a 12-team 3v3 tournament parent ran. It's counted to the cash cow and can't find any of them. Yeah, I mean, they don't want to. Do a Google search. How can you find 3v3s in California? Google search it. Why do academies reach out to other clubs' players to guest play when they have 3 teams in the same age bracket to fill a spot? Why would they do that? Because they want to try and take somebody's players later? Duh. I mean, don't think about it. Why would you pull up your own kid from your second team or your third team when you can go guest play somebody else? If they like it, you might get them to come to you, and that's more money in your pocket. It's just basic math. Mental talk for these modern kids who respond to buzz that us boomers just plain don't know playbook. Can you expand on that, real soccer mom, or at least explain to me what, or DM me, I guess. I think that'll help. It's the same when Real Madrid comes to USA, okay? What do you think of Marset Academy in Barcelona? Again, I don't know much about it. I know 1 or 2 people that play for it. I know you got to pay a lot of money, I think, to go there, but I can't comment on something I don't know. I would imagine that it's like an IMG Academy or a Mount Verde Academy or whatever, but I don't know. MLS Next Academies is not a developmental program for players. It's just a money-oriented business. Yeah, that's all it is, unless you play for an MLS Academy, which is mostly free. So if you're just an MLS Next, I mean, think about it this way, okay? So let's say you play MLS Next. You're a third-tier player at a minimum because you're not in an MLS Academy. So you get to wear a badge that essentially says you're third tier because you're paying for MLS Next. Should ECNL be open to smaller clubs that can compete? I mean, we should have an open-tiered system. I mean, honestly, it should all be funneled under U.S. Soccer, where U.S. Soccer is here. Then there's the pro leagues that funnel down, and you can, promotion, relegation. That's how it should be. Unfortunately, it's not. But to answer your question, should ECNL be open to smaller clubs that can compete? I don't see why it's restricted. But again, it's all about control and stopping people that want to try and do the right thing to get in. Because if I got into ECNL as an example, dude, I would be at every single meeting blowing them up, and they wouldn't like it. So, but I personally wouldn't play ECNL. I think it's a waste of your time. And the amount of travel you guys have to do is just stupid. Playbook, best practice for kids to be recruited in the future. Is there a blueprint for success in U.S. soccer system? Yeah, I mean, the best blueprint is get the hell out of the country and go to Europe. That's your best blueprint. Kyberto cut his hair, my G. My dog, I guess I'm going to see it tomorrow morning. So during the summer, what do you recommend doing if all summer camps are pretty much cash cows? Well, I didn't say all summer camps are cash cows, but can you find something that will train your kid? But you got to understand, like, if you go to a 6-hour camp, realistically, your kid's going to work hard for an hour and a half, 2 hours, and then he's gassed, and he's got nothing left. So if he's gassed and he's got nothing left, do you think he's going to be effective at training for 3 to 4 more hours? The answer would be no. Yes, I need summer camp for the summer or something to keep the kids active. I didn't say don't do a summer camp. I just said understand what you're getting into. Don't expect the summer camp to change your kid's life. So, unless you go to a camp that focuses on training, then okay. Keepers, if you have to be focused in basics first and forward. Yeah, I mean you look at kids nowadays, or not kids, sorry, goalkeepers, dude, the level of skill that I love Ederson. He's ridiculous. Like that, every goalkeeper should look up to be like Ederson. His footwork is stupid. His range of passing with his feet is stupid. And he didn't get that by training as a goalie as a kid. He got it by training. Actually, I think he was a left back, if I remember correctly. Okay, let's see. MLS Next versus ECNL. Differences. It's the same shit. Just a different badge you get on your shoulder that says you're the shit. That's what it is. Unless, again, you're in an MLS Academy, which is free. I don't know if you guys know that, so that's going to be one of the things I talk about. Now, France has a huge success developing kids with their soccer academies. Why their success? Players like Henri, Vieira, and Nelka, and the new generation of Mbappe, Dembele. Why their success? Because they focus on development. It's obvious, isn't it? And obviously, the other side of the coin would be, and it's really any country, like, again, Brazil, Germany, Spain, right? They have developmental structures in place. They're trying to develop players. We are not trying to develop players. I think you don't know enough about MLS Next, which is not for everyone. There are a lot of negatives in being an MLS Academy. For one, your kid basically could be normal. Yeah, listen, I don't disagree. So I know plenty about MLS Academies. I'm just explaining to you the point of what I'm trying to say is if you're an MLS Academy, you are the 0.01% of kids. That doesn't mean it's the best place to be, by the way, for your child, because you're right, you have to give up everything. Like, you got to go train in the morning. But if you want to be a professional, then you have to make sacrifices. There's no guarantees that you're going to make it, obviously. And then the other side of the coin is, and I talked about this the other day, and this is a catch-22 with MLS Academies now, because this is why they're free, is because if you join an MLS Academy, that's free, then they own you as a player. They own your rights. So if they can then sell you to another club, and they can make money off of that. Or if you decide to leave, as an example, they can block you. So you got to be careful with stuff like, because that happened with the kid that we had. We had a kid that came from an MLS Academy. He left the academy, came to us, and he was blocked to go to other MLS clubs. So you got to be careful with that. And then the other side of the coin is, if the player becomes a professional in the future, there's training compensation that then has to be paid to Orlando, or not Orlando, but MLS Academies, which could be in Orlando City. So let's see. We live in an area with no MLS team. So what do you do to get to that level of soccer? Only option seems to be MLS Next. What would I do is, this is what I do now. I have a club. We don't have MLS Next, but we put our kids to play UPSL. I think that's just as effective, if not better, than the pay-to-play MLS Next, because you're not just pigeonholed to play your age, one. Two, you get to play against adults, which is closer to playing the college level than anything else, because when you go to college or if you go to pro, you're playing against adults. So why would you not just do that? I don't know. That's what I would do. What are the differences between MLS Academies and MLS Pre-Next? The difference is MLS Academies are free. And to somebody else's point, I don't remember who said it, but your lifestyle completely changes, because for most of them, you have to train in the morning, you go virtual school, you train again in the afternoon, and then you go home. That's your day. So it's way different than club soccer. Maybe this is too general, but for those who live in a small town, who or what would be the best way to have their children be evaluated for honesty on how well they can actually play without biased opinion? Well, video would help, to be honest. You'd have to send it to somebody like me to evaluate it for you, and then we would tell you. What else can I say? But, again, I'd have to sit down and, watch a 30 to 60-minute clip of your kid. And then I'd have to know what level is he playing at, because what people don't get as well is there's levels to this. right? So like there's this level, and then you can move up and get to this level, and then you can get to this level, and then you get to this level, and then you get to this level, and then it keeps going. Even when you get to college, there's levels. When you get to pro, there's levels. So at what age should soccer players seek guidance from a nutritionist? Well, listen, nutrition is important the moment they're born. So, okay, let's put it this way. There's the lady that I work with, and she works with professional NFL teams, professional MLB teams, elite level college athletes, and she has a general rule, which I'm going to give you now for free. And her rule of thumb is obviously try to eat clean, okay? But you need to have 2 servings of carbs, a serving of protein, and a serving of vegetables. That's what they need to eat every meal. Every meal, by the way. So they need to be doing that as soon as possible. And that goes for everybody in general in life. That's not just athletes, by the way, but that's the rule of thumb. So I'm interested in joining a 3v3 league. Anyone know if there's a league in the LA area? I don't. I can't answer that. So let's see. Question. How many of you guys want to see the playbook? Type playbook down below if you want to see the playbook, because I would love to see what you guys think, man. If you want to see the playbook, let me know. Who wants to see the playbook? Playbook. Who wants to see it? Make it happen. Make it happen, playbook. Who wants to see the playbook? I want to know. And then remember, if you want me to get this playbook out to you guys, then what I would recommend you do, like all of my reels, comment on my reels playbook, and then share as much as you can my stuff. And that way I'll be more motivated to get it done. And it's really that simple, man. So, Zach Coppin's in here. Let me invite Zach in here. Zach, I'm inviting you in, bro. I hope you're ready to do a live. This is a guy that's a college soccer player. Let me invite him in. I think it'd be great to have him talk about a couple of things. Hope you're ready, Zach. I'm inviting you. Boom. He's probably like, shit, put me on the spot like that. If not playing at ECNL National or MLS Next by 9th grade, is it too late to catch up with those who already are? No, it's not too late because, again, if you just listen to what I just said, it doesn't matter if you're playing MLS Next. You can just go play adult level competition. So it's never too late. You can always improve and get better. So, Zach, let's go, lad. Hold on. I'm trying to get. Where's Zach at? My dude. Yo, Zach, my man, I'm gonna knock his teeth out. Where, Zach? Hold on. Unable to join. All right, he's trying to get in. It didn't work. Let him try again. All right, we're gonna get this guy in here. He's a Division II college keeper, and I want him to explain a couple of things because maybe you guys will listen to him. If you don't want to listen to me, that's cool, but that's fine. So let's see. I'm trying to get him in though. Trying to get it in. So listen. Anyways, what other questions you guys got, man? I want to know what other questions you got. All right, what other questions you got? Like, okay, here's the thing, right? So if you train with me, as an example, I do a lot of training. I stop posting most of it. I kind of let it sit on the side. Oh, hold on. We're trying to get Zach in. Here we go. Hold on. Hold on. Let's go, Zach. I don't know why Instagram is such a pain in the ass sometimes with this. Like, it should just let this dude in, no problem. And we're struggling to get my man's in here. Let's try again. Where's Zach? Invite. Done. Invited. Where are you located? I'm located in Orlando. So, yeah, what I was saying is I do a bunch of, like, individual sessions. I don't really post. Why is it saying he can't join? He is unable to join. It's dumb. Like, I don't really post them as much anymore. But here's the thing. Zach, I'm trying to. There we go. Holy hell! Finally,
Hey.
Mr. Arsenal, the legend himself.
I'm good. How are you?
What's gooch? Living the dream, bro. Hey, listen. So I just saw you were in the call. I wanted. I told you I wanted to talk to you, and you know, you kind of give your opinion and stuff. So, for just quick reference, guys, this is Zach Coppin. He's a goalkeeper. He plays Division II right now. Correct? Division II. Yeah, so he's Division II. I've known him for a long time. He's actually one of our goalkeeper coaches, and he's going to go play college soccer here shortly, or again go back to college soccer. And I just want you to kind of talk about, Zach, like your experience. Like one of the things we were talking about the other day, a bunch of stuff, but one of them was, kids at this level or this age, they don't understand the sacrifices that you had to make to get to where you're at. One, two, the number of guys that make it is not very high. So if you could kind of explain some of that stuff, that would be amazing.
I've been playing
soccer. First, tell your story, I guess,
from
really.
England. I've been playing soccer since I was 7. So I've had to make lots of sacrifices, obviously. You're missing out on things like, as you get older, you miss out going out with friends, things like that. Simple as that. They're like, oh, you want to go out? No, I have training. And you miss out on things like that. So you obviously miss out on the social aspect, but then it has to all be worth it, You make those sacrifices. I'm a very firm believer in it will probably be worth it.
Yep.
So another thing is I played with a youth team. There was 22 of us on a squad, and one person made it to college. That was me. Yeah. So it's one person out of 22 people.
Can you say
so
it
it's
again
not
for the
as
people in
easy
the
as
back?
people think it is. Like everyone expects, like, oh, college level is this. If I put enough training in, it's not just that. It's all down to nutrition, training, like I said, sacrifices, all that, and yeah.
Yeah. Funny, man. And I really want to harp on this because, it's a great example. And I always tell people this all the time. Somebody asked me who's in the chat. So the guy in the bottom is Zach Coppin. He's a Division II goalkeeper in the NCAA. And I've known Zach for a long time. But basically, we were just chatting the other day because we had a little meeting and whatnot. And basically, long story short, what he just said is
some players
he was on a team with 22 players. And there were some good players in your team, correct? Yeah. So guys that are even, potentially better than him. He plays goalie, though, so it's a slightly different position. But the point is, he was the only guy that made it to go to the next level out of 22 players. I want to make sure people understand that. It's not – you may have a goal, but if you don't have the network, if you don't have the skills and the hunger –
they all get jobs,
correct me if I'm wrong, but all these guys
money,
have all, quit, and they have a job, and they're just – oh, no, really God, it's funny, man. People just don't get it, bro. They just don't understand. And then can you kind of highlight, and I do want to talk about college briefly, but I do want to get into the part we were talking about the other day about, what the kids don't understand, before they get to college,
they don't
the level
understand
difference and the intensity.
How hard it is just to get to that level. They think it's just they can play at their level, and they get very privileged where they're winning all their youth games, winning their tournaments. And then they go to college, and it's a whole new level. You're going against. I mean, in my first freshman season, I played against a 28-year-old, and I'm glad I played. I'm glad I played UPSL because obviously I played 28-year-olds in UPSL. So, but I've seen other kids on the team, and they're like, oh, I don't know what to do. I'm playing against a 28-year-old, and I've never played against someone this physical before. Yeah.
Right, experience, physicality. Yeah, no, I mean, agreed. I played at St. Leo's, so I was D2, and I know exactly what it was. I mean, I played against guys, same thing.
Yeah.
And, when you first get there, you're like, what in the hell? This is so different. It's crazy. It's people just don't get it. So, can you kind of expand on that? So you played youth, so you played the typical U8, U15, and blah, 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 and then you made the decision to go into UPSL before you got to college. So can you explain that process and how you felt like it helped you?
Yeah.
So, you made the decision at some point you were still in youth soccer, right? Then you transitioned to doing UPSL, which is an adult league. And you don't have to do UPSL, but there are multiple adult leagues, but you did that one. So can you kind of explain the whole process of doing an adult league and why you made that choice?
The whole process of doing it, I was
by the way.
Youth soccer, it's the same thing. You're traveling to wherever every week, and you're playing the same set of kids that aren't you might get the one odd one that is. I think the most important thing is physicality. When you get to a certain age, you don't need the technical level, or obviously you need the technical level, but you hit a certain base point of technicality where it's you can't get as much better than that. And then you start going against grown men that have the technical level. You don't know what to do because they're throwing you off the ball. You're not playing 90 minutes with no subs. You don't know what to do. So I think the whole the whole process of playing is just older people, and
Yeah.
you're learning from older people who are going to know more than you in football or soccer too. They're going to know so much more than you. So you're going to, I've learned so much before I went to college from playing with people that are played, because most of them have played at a higher level. Most of them have played at a level where it's USL or whatever. They've played lower leagues in Europe or whatever, and they're here now just have some fun. But still, you're learning from them every single time. Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy. Huh? Yeah, it's nuts. Like people just don't understand. So can you now that you've gone to college already, can you talk about like just the difference between
I'd
college
say
soccer and youth?
one of the main
First
differences is
part of
the
this.
amount of
Like
intensity.
some of the differences you saw.
The amount of it. It's such a
Yeah.
like
Well,
so
what does that mean? Because somebody
when you go to
listening to this might not understand
college,
what that means.
your life, if you go to college for sports, your life is that sport. You're waking up, you're going for a workout at 6. Like I've woke up for 6 a.m. workouts before. And then you go have breakfast, and then you go do live tape, and then you go to class, and then you come back, outdoor training, and then you go back, you're done for the day, and then the coach is like, okay, now optional runs. So you have, again, you have to make that sacrifice, because when you go to college, you're going to be forced to make that sacrifice.
Yeah.
Yeah, or you get cut, or you get sent home. It's simple things like if you're 5 minutes late for training, there's no point in being in the tournament the next day because the coach is going to send you right home. Yeah, you'll get. I mean, maybe not as
somebody's late, so
not as bad as that, but you do it a couple times, yeah, you're going to get sent home.
Yeah. I mean, I remember we had a kid when I was at college. I mean, one kid showed up late. He was sent home for a week. He said, "Don't come back until you get your shit together." And I was like, "Don't be late. If you're late," and it's funny because youth parents all the time show up late and they take forever to get there. And obviously, it's a little bit different situation, but you know, the principal's still the same. And they go, "Well, was my kid not playing this weekend?"
They don't understand
well,
it until it hits you in the face.
So,
yeah.
Yeah.
On our roster,
so how many
I believe
players
there was 41
were at your school? Yeah.
41.
41 players,
yeah. And obviously there's only 11 people playing, so you're fighting for a spot every, like, you might have your friends in college, but you are fighting for a spot every single training session. Yeah. Yeah,
if you want to play, if people don't, again, that's something that's not translated all from youth, because even at youth, like, you pretty much, you're guaranteed to play no matter what. So it's like, it's just funny because people don't get the change in culture, for lack of, or I mean, I guess that's the best word to explain it. The change in culture to
no, definitely. It's
the environment is completely different. Like, people,
it's a whole new ball game, really. Like, you go there, you have to adapt quick. If you don't adapt quick, then you're gonna get left behind.
Yeah. So I'm curious, if you did not play adult level competition before going to college, like, I know you didn't do that, but how do you think?
No.
If I think you would have been as ready if you just did youth?
I'm glad I played adult level, because it definitely gives you an advantage.
But so, what do you think? Like, what was the advantage to you?
I think the main thing is you're physically ready.
Did you feel or see?
You're going to go into a game now, and physically, you've already went against, let's say, a 28-year-old that's physically ready, and then you go against someone at your age at college, and you're physically better than them already because you've already went against someone older.
Yeah.
16, 17, around that age.
Start playing adult level. There you go, 16 or 17. So somebody asked a question, how do you play adult level? It's pretty easy. You just go find a team that's in, for example, a UPSL or whatever, and you play for them. So a good example, and Zach, you can kind of talk about it a little bit, is, I mean, obviously you're playing for our UPSL team, and we have, the entire team is kids. So, how do you feel like for them, because they're 15, 16 years old, they're playing UPSL, how do you think that's going to translate? I think it'll be perfect for them
because, like I said, they will be ready now when they get to the college level or beyond that. When they go against someone who is older, they'll be like, okay, I've already done this at at a lower level, but with a higher physical level. I've done this at the adult level. It's gonna be pretty easy. Obviously, it's not gonna be easy, but they're gonna be able to adapt quicker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they can transition into the next phase. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, because one of the things you said that I think is really key is, for example, in the UPSL,
Yeah.
you're only allowed 7 substitutions the entire game. So if you sub, let's say you're playing right wing and you get a tackle in the first 5 minutes and you feel hurt, you're hurt, not injured, but you're hurt, and you come off the field and they sub you,
Yeah.
you're done. You are not playing, and that's in the first 5 minutes of the game. It's not like youth soccer where you can play, sub out, sub back in, sub out, sub back in, sub out, sub back in. And I tell people, like, you have to be fully fit. Like, kids should not be getting subbed. They should be able to play an entire
also
game
another thing, like,
and not get subbed.
in
So
college
I think
soccer,
that's a huge point.
I was very shocked because I went from UPSL, like you said, 7 subs, you're out, you're done. I went to college and it's kind of like youth football. Like we went back to there were some games that it was unlimited subs. I was confused at first, but it was amazing to go back to that. Like it was so easy to transition back into that. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, because you're used to the other way. Well, I don't know what the rules are now, but I can tell you when I played, the rule used to be.
Oh, yeah, I believe it. Yeah, it was that rule. It was that
half,
rule.
You were done. You could only sub back in the second half if the coach wanted. Yeah. Which again is crazy. I think it should be the same thing. You get 7 subs and that's it. Because again, it's closer to the real game. But it's very interesting, man. And then any other, what advice? Like, okay, so you're 20 now, right? You're still 20. So you're 20 now. What advice would you give? Like a 12-year-old kid, or like, let's say it's young Zach. Zach's 12.
I would say.
What advice would you give young Zach?
Advice
or kids that are like young Zach?
If you make the sacrifices, it will pay off. And if you keep on striving to play at the highest level you can get to, then it will pay off. Although there's gonna be times where you feel like, oh, this isn't working, if you keep on hitting it, it will pay off eventually.
Crazy, man. And then would you give the same advice to, say, like, again, 15-year-old kid or 16-year-old kid do the same thing? Would you say, hey, go get into, for example, UPSL?
Like, respectfully, I think you're silly if you're at the 15, 16, you have the option to play adult football or adult soccer, and you're gonna choose to go play youth. I think you're silly if you don't play adults at that age.
I 100% agree, Zach. I'm so glad you said it because I keep saying that stuff and people don't get it. So I think it's such a huge opportunity because, again, like, we talked about this the other day, is look at the best players in the world. They're signing pro. Like Jude Bellingham, the great example, English guy.
Yeah.
He's playing professional football for Birmingham City at 16 years old.
Yeah, no.
So it's huge. It's a huge difference, and kids need that stuff. So somebody asked, is it true that soccer scholarships are rare? Can you, with your experience, and I can add to that a little bit too, but
I think it really depends on what level you're playing at. It really, like, I've seen schools at Division II level give no more than $3,000. I've seen schools at NAIA give full scholarships. It's really dependent on the school and how much money they have.
Yeah. And that's a good question too, because what people don't understand is, for example, at the NCAA Division I level, they get 9.8 full scholarships, or 9.8 scholarships, 9 are full, and there's 0.8 of a full scholarship. So the coach can choose to use, well, I guess I should say the second part. So that's what the NCAA allows, okay? But the school sets how many scholarships they're allowed to give for the coach. So the school may only give 6 scholarships out of the 9.8. So then the coach has to make the decision on how much money he's going to give each player, or whatever number of players. So it can be that he gives equal distribution of money. That usually doesn't happen. But, some guys get 70%, some guys get 10%, some guys get 25%, some guys get 0, by the way. So it's completely different, man. So it's huge. It's a big thing. So, like, and the other thing is each division has different rules. So, like, NAIA, you're allowed, I think it's up to 12 scholarships. That doesn't mean the school has 12 scholarships.
It's really dependent
they're allowed to have 12 scholarships.
on the type of school. Yeah.
Yeah. And then somebody said, "Hey, do you or Zach think that this
I have no idea.
Matsu Blow kid from TikTok is going
Oh,
to be
no.
ready for college level?" I have no idea who this is.
No.
You don't know? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know who this guy is. And then Dynamic Football, who said, "And if a men's team does not take you, to find another one. Oh, if a men's team does not take you, find another one. Eventually, team will say yes if your quality compete." And that's the thing. I think that's important. That what they just said is, to have the quality compete. So, like, of course, you're not going to play adult level football if you
Yeah, no,
don't
definitely.
have the level. Correct, Zach?
No.
If you weren't good enough as a goalie,
Yeah,
they
no,
would not have
definitely,
taken you to
definitely.
go to play UPSL or go to college. So the second side of that would be, this is really important because you can play adult level competition, which is great. Like, you can be a member of the squad, but you actually have to also perform. And what people don't understand is if you're a 15 or 16-year-old kid and you perform, you're gonna get noticed by people because you're a kid playing against adults. You stand out like a sore thumb. Like, we had a kid. He was 14 years old playing UPSL, and in one game, he got a goal and assist.
Yeah,
and we tied 2-2, and he was playing
adult,
with adults.
I don't think people don't understand how much it helps.
Huge.
You might even not even notice it, but it helps you so much once you're playing it. It improves you so much in ways that you don't even like. It makes your game faster. It makes you obviously more physical. It helps you think faster. All that.
Yeah. Ooh, this is a damn good question. Coach Kyle, if you could do it all over again, what approach would you take to a path towards pro football? Gabe, that is a fantastic question. I'm glad somebody actually asked that. That's what my playbook is all about. I'm presenting it as if I had a kid, and this is exactly what I would do if I had a kid coming through the system. So stay tuned, and it's going to come out shortly, and you'll be able to see the exact stuff that I would do if my kid was coming through the system today in 2023. And
Around
then what
16,
age? So
17,
somebody
that
asked,
age.
Zach, what age did you start playing adult soccer? So 16, 17 years old. And again, he's a kid. He's not even an adult, and he's getting that experience. So, and then let's. I want you to talk about this, Zach. How was it traveling in college? What is that like?
It's not what people would expect it. Like you're traveling far. Let's just start off with that. Like I was in West Virginia. We traveled one game all the way to New York. Now, obviously, long trips you might rent like a big bus. Yeah, but like if you're going to like games like let's say we had a game in Ohio, then you're renting small like not minivans but like small buses if you know what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah. Travel vans. That's good. So somebody asked, where can I get the playbook? The playbook is not out yet, Ari, but it's coming out in the near future. I'm trying to finish it. I'm just trying to get as much information as I can to help people out. And then that boy Harry, he's alive. Holy, you're alive. What is a cash cow? A cash cow, Harry, is the club that you played for many years, where they took your money and they didn't do anything to help you. That's exactly what a cash cow is. I'm sure you can figure out who I'm talking about because Zach knows. Yeah. So Zach, any final thoughts really in terms of
I think
level,
a lot of people don't realize sometimes how
differences.
Obviously the college level is not professional, right? But I think people take for granted sometimes how the college level is better than, like I said, I already said UPSL level is good. College level is better than UPSL, better than youth. So if you've not been called up for a pro team, I'd say take that chance, go to college because at the end of the day, pro is very, very rare. Like you said, you point one best in the country. So if you're not point one best in the country, why not try and get a degree from it?
It's crazy. Yeah. And then can you talk about your side as a player?
We had five.
How many goalies did you
five.
guys have on the team for?
Yeah.
So what is that like? Because again, you said there's only one.
Again, you're friendly with these guys, but it's a dogfight out there. You're fighting for it. I mean, obviously, if you want to play, there's some people that want to go to college, they go on scholarship, and they want to party, and they're just there for the experience. But when there's people there that want to play, it's a dogfight out there. Like respectfully, obviously you're not going out there fighting your teammates, but you're competing with them. It's healthy competition.
Yeah. And then how did you – this is a great
No,
question. I thought of it now.
as a freshman, no.
Let's say – because you probably didn't play every game, correct? Okay. So how did you handle not playing every single game? Because, again, when you played youth, you probably played in every single game, one. But two, how did you – or who, I should say, address that with the coach? Was it you? Was it your mom or dad
it was
calling
me.
the coach saying, why did my son not play? Or
I didn't play for one game, then I wasn't on the squad the next game. I went to the coach and said, I've played this one game. What have I done wrong to be dropped? And we talked about it. And the next game I was in the squad, and then I played. And then it was a pattern of me being in the squad and at least like going to the games after I talked to him myself and not having. I mean, if I had a parent talk to him, he would have laughed at me and probably kicked me off the team.
So you're telling me, Zach, that when you didn't get game time in college, your mom didn't call to say, hey, coach, why is my son not playing? And you think
probably
what would have happened?
Would have sent me on the first flight home.
If
probably would have paid for the flight himself.
Oh, my God. Yeah, guys, so don't think that when you go to college or, of course, pro, that parents have any rights to speak to a coach, because they don't. It's between the kid and the player, I should say, and the staff. So can you give an example, though? Like you talked about like one game you got dropped. What was it?
I mean,
what was the reason that you got dropped, if you don't mind sharing?
He thought I wasn't putting in the maximum effort in training, and we both agreed on it. We thought I could have been doing better in training. So because at the end of the day, a lot of people don't realize it's the trainings that get you picked for the games. People think you can play like as good as you want in the games and don't turn up for practice. You will not make the squad. You won't start at least. So we both agreed on like I could have been putting in more effort. So then obviously put in more effort, and then I was back to where I was. I mean, that's
and then somebody asked, Zach, why didn't you go back to Europe?
Europe is very like it's not as easy as just going back to Europe, you know? Yeah.
It's definitely not that easy. Yeah, definitely not that easy.
Yeah.
All right, sweet. So, guys, I want to say thank you to Zach for coming on. Zach, we're going to definitely do another one where I have way more. Oh, wait, hold on. Somebody asked, what qualities do the players that play every – oh, good question. What qualities do the players that play every game have?
They're willing to work hard. They're willing to defend they're willing to play the full 90 minutes. And obviously some players, you're going to get players on every team that you play, you're going to get players that have that special something at any level. So obviously those players get special passes. Yeah. But that's just it's not just soccer, life's like that. You're going to have people with special passes. Yeah.
Yeah. Favoritism. Yeah. Well, then, actually, that brought a question to my mind. So, and the question I want to ask you is, before I draw a blank, because I'm drawing a blank, holy hell, is shit. I just forgot my question. Oh, no. Ari said, why? Why did you not have the resource? Not resource.
I guess
why,
just never. I never really.
And then let me think about my question.
It's a big sacrifice. You're leaving your family. I'm not going to say, I could have went to Europe and played for Arsenal, Man United, but if I wanted to, it's a very big sacrifice. You're leaving your family behind, all that. So I guess that plays a part into it.
I remember my question. Here's my question. Yeah. What would happen, like, so your coach had a game plan for the games, right? Okay. So what would happen if the player
if the player didn't follow the game,
like a player didn't follow the game plan?
They were back onto the bench. Simple as that. Oh, definitely. I've heard. I mean, and his name just got back on the bench.
Did you ever see that happen?
Shouted at you. It's more than just being taken off. You then have to. Yeah, and then you then have to go back to practice and you need to fight to get back to where you were.
Yeah. Well, and what I want to add to that is what I think a lot of people don't realize is, college is not professional, but again, you're in it now. So the coach has a job.
Yeah.
And ultimately, for him to keep his job, he needs to try and win as many games as possible. So he's going have a game plan that he thinks will hopefully win the game, and he's putting players in positions to try and win said game. So he's got a family to feed. He's got a mortgage on his house.
Yeah.
So he's going to be doing everything that he can to win.
Yeah, no,
So
definitely,
he's picking the players that will put him in a
like you
position
said,
to win.
he has a
aka
job.
favorites.
Like a lot of like youth coaches or whatever, that's not their job. They have another job. If this guy doesn't get his wins at the college, he's getting fired.
Go on. Yep, he's getting fired. So 2 last questions that I see. How do you feel about almost every player in youth soccer wanting to be a striker and not defense? What do I think? I would say it's because it's who everybody gets to see Erling Haaland scoring 50 goals a season. Who doesn't want to be Erling Haaland? Not many people want to be Virgil van Dijk. But what I will tell you is if Harry Maguire is going for $80 million or pounds, then there's a clear need for center backs. So just keep that in the back of your mind. And then, Zach, you can answer this. At what age does the
first
speed of
time I
play
saw
and
the
game go
speed
up?
of playing, honestly, other than getting older in youth, is UPSL. It's Pete. There's a when you get to the adult level, it's not a case of your parents wanting you to go outside and be social. It's a case of, okay, I want to be here, so I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's on you. It's not on
Yeah,
your
of
mom and your
course.
dad. That's funny. Well done, Zach. I appreciate you coming in. I got to get off the call
Okay,
anyways, so we'll save this. But I actually we'll set up a thing where we do another
yeah.
live and we invite a bunch of people
Yeah,
in.
thanks so much for having
Let's
me.
make it happen, bro. I appreciate you and thanks for the feedback.
Yeah,
I hope you
ciao.
guys paid attention.